they are a better team than the team you just faced over the weekend. So what is it going to take? What can we expect from Nick Martinez today? And Shane McClanahan coming up tomorrow. Mark Topkin, TampaBay.com, Rays Insider. He'll be with me coming up at 4 o'clock. And then later on, in the 4 o'clock hour, I'm sorry, he's with me at 3 o'clock, Mark Topkin. In the 4 o'clock hour, a lot happening over the weekend. Some good, some bad, and some downright ugliness. And we'll get into it, the good, the bad, and the ugly from the weekend there was. We're on the air to 6 o'clock here on this beautiful Overreaction Monday.
There's a show. That's a show.
That's a show. That's what we do here. That is the show. Boy, oh boy, I'm so glad baseball is back. And we saw a little bit of everything over the weekend. You want to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly? We saw a little from all three categories regarding your Tampa Bay Rays and the weekend that was in St. Louis. What are the early returns on your Tampa Bay Rays? Ladies and gentlemen, that is the theme of our opening drive here on this Overreaction Monday.
Tampa Bay Sports Radio presents the opening drive.
An impressive opening drive.
What an opening drive.
With TKras.
And what an opener it was for the Rays at 1-2. They finally got one back yesterday. Could it have been a sweep? Yes, it could have been. But you saw some good things, some things to be positive about. I think the offense looks pretty good so far. Now, I would caution you that the St. Louis Cardinals are not a very good team. Their over-under win total is 69.5. That's lower than the Rays. According to betonline.ag, Rays over-under win total at 76.5. Did I see anything over the weekend that would have me go past or above my expectation or below my expectation? I think the answer is no. I think the Rays are right in that 78 to 80 win range, and I don't see anything that took place over the weekend that would make me want to change my prediction. The only thing that would change it is if, God forbid, they had more injuries to deal with. And they already have a bevy of injuries. Gavin Lux, hopefully he'll be back when they reopen the Trop next week. Taylor Walls will be out a lot longer than that. We'll find out what that looks like. You know, Ryan Pepio should be back relatively soon. But I think in their absence, you saw a couple of guys step up their game. Look, this is a very big opportunity and a very big moment for Carson Williams. And you saw his base running prowess and the speed that he showed on Saturday coming all the way around and scoring. What a great slide that was, too. And scoring that run on Saturday, and you thought, oh, my gosh, what a comeback. The Rays were getting no hit for a while, and then all of a sudden they mount this furious rally late in the game. And you thought maybe, just maybe, you know, the Rays might find a way to win this game on Saturday. It was an awesome rally. You know, the Rays come back in that ninth inning. They score 4 times, and then they score once in the 10th. And you thought, okay, maybe, just maybe, the Rays are going to find a way to do this. Yandy Diaz was sensational on Saturday. He was sensational yesterday with 5 hits and 4 RBI. Let me tell you something, man. That guy can be 58 years old, and he still knows what to do in the batter's box. He still knows how to attack an opposing pitcher, when to pull it, when to go the other way. He's still a tremendous hitter. Tremendous hitter. And he has shown that so far in this young season. Yandy Diaz is 9 for 16 to begin the campaign, including that 5-hit outburst yesterday. But opening day hurt. That did. You're up big. You let that one get away. The game on Saturday, I think in some ways hurt even more because of the incredible comeback you made. You know, you're down 4-0 in that game. You come back to tie it up. You take the lead in the 10th, thanks to Yandy Diaz, only to have Griffin Jacks blow it late on Saturday. Terrible. Chris Mathis, I guess you don't have. I don't
The
have.
pitch.
There it is.
Swung on, grounded through the hole into right. It's a base hit. Church scores. Here comes Walker. Throw home is late, and the Cardinals have won it. And the talented rookie making quite an impression as he's mobbed at second base. What a difficult loss for the Rays.
That's putting it mildly. The great Neil Solondz with the call right here on your home of the Rays. That's how the game ended on Saturday. Listen, I don't know how to even start to figure out Griffin Jax at this point. I don't. The guy has elite, I'm talking about elite stuff. He just doesn't know how to apply it. He just doesn't know when to attack. Pitching sequence, and you saw that on opening day as well. When your sweeper's going well, why the hell are you throwing Nate Burleson or Mr. Burleson there a fastball? Center cut. And he takes you out of the yard. Might as well be Nate Burleson at that point. It was Alec Burleson. Alec Berg. Have you hit another walk-off home run, Mr. Berg? And then you see Griffin Jax go in there. His ERA is 18 so far, by the way. And he blew it on Saturday. Completely blew it. That was such a disgraceful loss on Saturday. There's no other way around it. To fight back, to tie the game in the 9th, to take the lead in the 10th, only to have J.J. Weatherholt, who killed the Rays like the first 2 games of the series, take out Griffin Jax and the Rays with that 2-run single in that 10th inning. And the Rays were turned away. They lost that game 6-5. But you know what? Credit to the Rays because they came back yesterday. And they looked focused. They looked, should I even say pissed off? They looked like they were pissed off. And that's good. That's what I want to see. I want to see some spunk. I want to see some energy. I want to see some pushback. And they use their speed and aggressiveness to their advantage. And they need to continue to lean into that. If there is one thing that the Rays have over some of these other teams, it's that speed, the aggressiveness, being able to bunt. You know Chandler Simpson knows how to bunt. Johnny DeLuca laid down a beautiful bunt single. That's the name of the game. The Rays have to go old school if they're going to score runs and compete with some of these big boys. And they kind of did that yesterday. You know, when they got up late in the game, I think I tweeted at one point, is a 4-run lead enough? I'm asking for a friend. And it looked like it wasn't going to be because what's his name is, allowing home runs left and right. What was it, Mason Englert? Good God. That was bad. And you know what? Kudos to Brian Baker because he came on in that 9th inning. 1, 2, 3 through 10 pitches. Let's get the hell out of here with a win. And the Rays were able to win that game 11-7. And like he contributed on Saturday, the ageless wonder that is Yandy Diaz also did a number yesterday on the Cardinals.
The 3-1 pitch poked in the air, shallow right, dropping quickly. Here comes Walker. It's down for a hit. Heading for the plate is Williamson, and Walker's throw way late. Williams goes to third. A bloop single for Yandy Diaz, his 4th hit of the day, and the Rays lead is 7-4.
The great Andy Free with the call right here on your home for Rays baseball, WDAE, which, by the way, and I was driving around Saturday and Sunday, it sounds awesome on 95.7 on the FM dial. Just kind of cruising around Pasco, through the Tampa area, blah, 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 Clearwater, Pinellas. It sounds great on 95.7. And Yandy Diaz is still a tremendous hitter. 5 for 6 yesterday, 4 RBI. He became the 3rd Ray with a 5-hit day and 4 RBI in the same game. Matt Joyce and B.J. Upton were the other 2 to do it. And we'll talk to Mark Topkin coming up just after the 3 o'clock hour. But one thing is certain, Yandy Diaz still knows how to hit. And he can do it with the best of them. And he knows when to go the other way on certain pitches. He just has this innate ability when he's in that batter's box at the age of 34. He turns 35 this summer. The guy is still an incredible hitter. His OPS, I know it's early, but his OPS so far is over 1,200. which is just ungodly, really. But Yandy Diaz was one of the bright spots from over the weekend. So was Jonathan Aranda. He was tremendous yesterday. He went 3 for 6 with a couple of RBI. He homered in the first game of the season. He was fantastic. And as you saw throughout the weekend, Junior Caminero is going to have to display some patience and discipline as this season progresses. They are being very careful. St. Louis was over the weekend. Milwaukee will be over the next 3 days. And every other team after that faces Junior. And he's going to have to be very, very patient, very disciplined, because he's not going to see many good pitches to hit. And it's something that the Rays really have to address. And I think I talked about this on Friday when we were over at Moss, and I'll mention it again. I don't like him hitting cleanup, meaning Junior. And I realized what the Rays were trying to do yesterday, because Cedric Mullins was struggling mightily. He finally got a hit late in the game and drove in 2. Like, if somebody is struggling, the way to get him out of that funk is you hit him right in front of Junior, because you know he's going to get some pitches to hit, because you know who's on the on-deck circle. But if I'm the Rays, again, this lineup, 1, 2, 3, 4, has to be in there every single day, regardless of opponent. It should be Chandler Simpson hitting leadoff, uses his speed. He's hitting .455 so far, a couple of hits yesterday. Yandy Diaz is the perfect number 2 hitter with Chandler getting on base in front of him. Perfect, because of Yandy's ability to drive the ball the other way. So if Chandler Simpson gets on first and he doesn't steal second, I mean, he's going from first to third on basically any hit the opposite field to right field by Yandy Diaz, who does it with the best of them. And then you hit Caminero third, which means Yandy Diaz is going to get some great pitches to hit. I mean, if you bat Yandy in front of Junior, oh my goodness, his OPS might as well be 1,100, 1,200 by the end of the season, hitting .350. And then you hit Jonathan Aranda cleanup. If you're the Rays, that is the perfect lineup. 1, 2, 3, 4. Simpson, Yandy, Junior, Aranda. Do it if you're the Rays. 888-388-0957. Text at 82945. And look, I understand why you would want to put Yandy first, because he's such a great contact hitter. And yesterday in the leadoff spot, he had 5 hits. He's not your prototypical leadoff hitter when you're talking about, you know, back in the day, the Ricky Hendersons, the Vince Colemans of this world, guys that Chandler Simpson, by the way, idolized, as we learned from our conversations with him from a year ago. Aranda hitting second, Mullins was hitting third yesterday, and Junior hitting fourth. Get Junior Caminero a look in the first inning. And we've been talking about this entire spring, actually going back to last year. Your best hitter's got to hit second or third. In this instance, third. And the way you project 1, 2, 3, 4, in my opinion, I think that's the perfect elixir for this Rays lineup. So far, 23 runs, 41 hits. That's outstanding. But I think if you set it up in that manner, Chandler, Yandy, Junior, Aranda, I think that's the perfect balance, 1 through 4, and I think you'll be able to sustain some of this offensive momentum that the Rays have going on so far. I get it, it's the Cardinals. Cardinals are not a very good team. And, you know, we don't know how good this Rays team actually is. Again, you saw some pretty good signs from over the weekend. You saw some signs that were not so good. I thought Steven Matz was good yesterday. He made one mistake to Jordan Walker, and it turned into a 3-run homer, which is not ideal. Aside from that, I thought he did a fine job. Threw 81 pitches, and look, here's a guy who hasn't started many games over the last couple of years, but I like his stuff. I like the sinking action on his fastball, induced some ground balls. He only walked 1 over 5 innings. I thought there was a lot to like out of him. And look, even though the bullpen has not been very good, Clevenger, I think, is better than what he's shown. Walked 2 guys yesterday. Englert was awful. I would not put him in any sort of high-leverage situation. Brian Baker's fantastic. And I think the Rays need to lean into that guy a little bit more often. So here are the early returns. I think the bullpen is better than what they've shown. Griffin Jax has got elite arm talent. He just has to plan things better. I think his sequencing needs to be a lot better than what it is. Pitch location, yada, 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 because the stuff is there. I think the bullpen's better than what we've seen. The offense has been electric so far, but consider it's the St. Louis Cardinals on the other side. I don't think the offense is as good as we've seen over the weekend, but it's a big but. I think the speed and aggressiveness is something you can lean into without question. And I think if they stuck to the lineup that I'm projecting, and we'll talk to Mark Topkin a little bit later on, I think that 1, 2, 3, 4 combination is very tough to beat. Now, 5 through 9, you might be going through it a little bit. And there might be a lack of production, although you kind of like what Ben Williamson has shown you. I think Carson Williams has shown you something too. There's some athleticism there. There's some upside there potentially. But the early returns, and it's very early through 3 games. I'm not sure if the offense is as good as we've seen. I think the bullpen is better, and I think the starting pitching is going to be solid. I'm interested in seeing what Nick Martinez does tonight because this Brewers team's very good. It's a good offensive unit. And as we saw in the spring, and I know pitchers like to experiment and try some things out, but he got lit up like a Christmas tree in spring training. Hopefully, that doesn't carry over into tonight. So I think there's some positive signs out of the Rays that I saw over the weekend. Yandy Diaz, I mean, he's the biggest positive. At the age of 34 to do what he's doing, I mean, he looks like the guy that led the American League in batting 2 years ago. And it's funny because Mark Topkin talked to him after the game, and we'll get with Topper coming up just after 3 o'clock. He went back and he looked at some things, and he adjusted his stance a little bit in terms of hand placement and everything else, and it's working for him. The guy just knows how to hit. He's a true professional, and he sprays it to all fields. He may not hit 20 home runs or more as we saw last year because you were at a hitter's-friendly park, but I can tell you, so far so good, Yandy Diaz looks tremendous. 888-388-0957, text at 82945. A lot of Rays talk today. Mark Topkin at 3:05, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're on the air to 6 o'clock, and then it's our coverage of Rays baseball tonight. The Rays will be in Milwaukee. This will be tough. What will Nick Martinez give the Rays tonight against a Brewers team that's pretty tough? You're playing at their place. They are 3-0 so far this season. Kyle Harrison is a lefty. He's going. And I know we're going to get into this conversation once the lineups come out, but since there's a lefty on the mound, does this mean you're going to sit Chandler Simpson? Are you going to piss me off again on a Monday? And it's not an overreaction. I think Chandler Simpson is one of your main offensive players. Kyle Harrison's on the mound. That's fantastic. I'm happy for him. Young kid, a 24-year-old. Is he Tarek Skubal? I don't know. Well, why would you sit one of your more electrifying players just because there's a lefty on the mound? Don't get me started, even though I already am started. I'm a self-starter, baby. That's how we do it around here. All right, when we come back, Wyatt, I can see you there. You're going to be up first. He wants to talk about the Rays. You could talk about the Rays as well. What are your early impressions of the Rays after 3 games? Way too early. 3 down, 1:59 to go. We'll talk about it with you at 888-388-0957. Text at 82945. We'll come back. Your calls and texts on the Rays. Also, when we come back, trying to solve a lightning mystery. Meanwhile,